How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today we are finally looking at some Monarch spoilers and preview cards, and I am super stoked. This is something I've never really done before. If you see me looking down here, it's because I'm looking at the cards on the screen. We're going to be doing that a lot in today's video. Before we get started, I do want to mention that today's video is brought to you by FAB the premier Flesh and Blood deck building and database website. I will have a link in the description down below. It's a great site to build your decks on, and I personally use it myself, so definitely check them out. This is going to be quite a different video. I wanted to wait a couple days for spoilers to come out so they could marinate, so people can kind of get their opinions on it, and so I could formulate an opinion on these spoiler cards, and also so that people can go and watch and look at the places where these came from, because that's, I think, a really good part of the spoiler season, checking out all of the cool channels and supporters of Flesh and Blood. Because of that, I am going to be waiting until they're up on the official website in the image gallery, and we're going to pull that up right here. So these are the ones coming in the next couple days, and then here we're going to go over to the image gallery here, and so we're only going to look at cards from this image gallery out of respect for the content creators and all of that kind of stuff. And I do want to show off a little bit of the content creators here. So the ones that we're going to look at are the Monday the 12th and the Tuesday the 13th, and then in a future video we're going to look at some of the other ones, like the Wednesday the 14th, it's like my own Red Zone Rogue Mutated Mass one, and some of these other cards as well. But for today's video, we're going to look at these ones here. So, definitely go on this website to the Monarch spoiler site and check out all of these excellent supporters of Flesh and Blood. I highly recommend it. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at our first card here, the first brand new hero for Flesh and Blood in quite a while, actually. We have Levia, a Shadow Brute. And first of all, I love Levia. She is awesome. She is so cool. I love her young hero artwork. It is beautiful, and then her adult artwork is awesome. It is so cool. It reminds me of Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft, if you watched the last video I did. So what does she actually do? So she has 20 starting life total, hand size of 4, pretty standard. If a card with 6 or more attack has been put into your banish zone this turn, cards you own lose blood debt during the end phase, which is really good. It means you want to banish a lot of cards and put them in your banish zone, and because of blood debt, we'll get to blood debt eventually, but because of that, it makes it so you don't lose life due to blood debt, because blood debt makes you lose life, and this is the kind of hero where you want to really use the blood debt mechanic. And then of course here is the Levia Shadowborn Abomination, just the adult version. She's awesome, man. She's so cool. I really dig her quite a bit. And in case you're curious, in case you are brand new to Flesh and Blood, the way you get these heroes is they come in booster packs as tokens. You can see the T on the bottom. The T on the bottom. They come as tokens, so they're not hard to get. So you can get your own Levia Shadowborn Abomination. Getting the foil versions is much more difficult. You get foil versions from attending events and that kind of stuff. And one thing I really wanted to talk about here when we're talking about Levia is that this is the full realization of the Flesh and Blood system. This is what James White has been hinting at for a very long time, and I'm going to do a full video going over this on Channel Fireball, but I wanted to talk about it here and now because this is the right place to talk about it. And what I mean by that is the full realization is the talent system. So Levia is a brute, but she is a shadow brute, and shadow is her talent. Not only that, it is the talent from the Demonastery. So other heroes, maybe in the future, maybe another hero that we'll see later in Monarch will have the shadow talent, and it's unique to the Demonastery. And so what is true for that, for the Demonastery, is true for Light and Solana. So Light is the Solana talent, and we're gonna see these going forward in future sets. So maybe we'll have Fire for Volcor or Teklo for Metrics. So it's all very interesting. I actually like it quite a bit. I think it's a fantastic mechanic. I think it's a good way of being able to simultaneously open things up for certain classes and heroes while also make them very narrow, which allows for a lot of design space, because you can make cards that are very, very powerful for very specific characters without being specializations, without having to worry about them being too powerful for certain other heroes. So what the whole talent system is, in case you didn't know, in case you didn't read, is that if your hero is a Shadow Brute, for example, you can use Shadow cards in your deck, you can use Brute cards in your deck, and you can use Shadow Brute cards in your deck. And we're going to talk about all of those in today's video. And you can use the generic cards too, of course. And why that's really cool is because it makes it so that when you're drafting, right, you can draft Shadow cards and still be kind of open. You can draft for either Levia or Chain, for example. We don't really know what class Chain is yet, but it's a really, really cool medium between staying open and like committing to a specific hero and class, and I really, really like that. And these mechanics, the dark mechanics or the shadow mechanics, are going to be consistently flavorful for all of the shadow heroes, and I think it's just a really cool way to incorporate flavor and game mechanics all into one package. I think it's fantastic. So anyway, that's that. Let's continue on with the spoilers here. So that's Levia, Shadowborn Abomination. We also have Endless Maw. So this is a Shadow Brute attack action with a cost of 6, a 3 pitch value, or rather a 3 cost and a red pitch value. There is a 3 pitch value one too, but we're going to talk about the red one first. And a defensive 3, which is actually really important because not all of these cards have defense, and I think that's really, really important when taking into account the Shadow Brute class. And it says, as an additional cost to play Endless Maw, banish 3 random cards from your graveyard. So this is kind of how you activate her ability to banish cards. Put them into the banish zone from your graveyard, and then do all of the blood debt shenanigans. We'll get to that too. And it says, if a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, Endless Maw gets +3 attack, making it a 9 attack for 3 resources, which is pretty good. And then also has Blood Debt. And so Blood Debt, it says at the beginning of your end phase, if Endless Maw is in your banish zone, lose 1 life. So Levia is the kind of hero where you want to banish a lot of cards to fuel her abilities, but at the same time, you want to levy that against, like, how many you're putting in and how much life you're willing to pay a turn. But she has a built-in mechanic to help mitigate the damage and mitigate the loss of life with her ability. So I think that's really cool. And I think Endless Maw is going to be a staple for Levia. The 6 attack is also very important because it's a brute card and it's a Shadow Brute card, and Levia still cares about 6 attack. But of course, that is only for the red pitch version. The yellow pitch has 5, and then the blue pitch has a measly 4. The next card is Pulping. This is just a regular Brute card. This is a Brute attack action for a cost of 2 with an attack of 6, which is once really, really good. And then, of course, the yellow has 5, and then the blue has 4. Once again, the 4 blue one, not great, and neither is the 5 here. You really want to be 6. And it says, draw a card, then discard a random card. I'm on board already. If a card with 6 or more attack is discarded this way, Pulping gains Dominate. When Pulping is defended by less than 2 non-equipment cards, it has Go Again. Pulping's really sweet. It has built-in Dominate, and it has the ability to Go Again, kind of forces your opponent to defend with multiple cards. I like it quite a bit. I think it'll see play in Reinhardt decks, other Brute decks outside of Levia, but I don't know about the yellow and I don't know about the blue pitches, but the red one, yeah, it'll probably see play. It seems really sweet. The next one is Shadow of Blasphemet. This is a majestic card, so it only has the 1 pitch value. Costs 2, has an attack of 6. This is another Shadow Brute attack action, which is really sweet. And it says, draw a card, then discard a random card. I'm seeing that a lot here. If a card with 6 or more, is it random from here? Yeah, it is random from Pulping. Sorry, I just had a thought. If a card with 6 or more attack is discarded this way, search your deck for a card with Blood Debt, banish it, then shuffle your deck. This is a really cool way to search up Blood Debt cards and then put them in your banish zone so you can play them using their effects. And we'll get to some Blood Debt cards that you can play from their banish zone, which is really sweet. And this card itself also has Blood Debt. I think this is fantastic. I think if you're going to be playing Levia, you're going to be playing like 3 of these, like Slam Dunk. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what or who Blasphemet is as we go forward. Next up, we have Convulsions from the Bellows of Hell. This card, the name and the art are absolutely brutal. They're metal. This game is so metal. This is so metal. This looks like a Slayer album cover or like a Cannibal Corpse album cover. This is a Shadow Brute action. There's also a yellow and a blue pitch because this is just a rare. And it has a defensive 3, which is very important. By the way, Shadow Blasphemet, we didn't talk about this, has no defense. No defense. So this is a very risky card. And I noticed a lot of the Shadow Brute cards are kind of like this. They're very risky with no defense. So it's It's going to be very interesting to see how people balance that out in Constructed. But anyway, the Convulsions from the Bellows of Hell. It says, as an additional cost, you play Convulsions. Banish 3 random cards from your graveyard. So once again, pretty good. Good way to fuel your banish synergies. And it says, if a card with 6 or more attack is banished this way, the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3 and dominate. Pretty good. You know, good way to fuel your banished synergies and then give your next attack +3 and dominate. You know, casually giving your endless mob +3 and dominates pretty good. You know, that's a, you know, 9 + 3 casual 12 dominate. Not too bad. Not too bad. And then we also have the yellow giving +2 and then the blue giving +1. I'm not sure if people are going to play with the blue or the yellow, but I think they're all very interesting, and I think this will probably see play. And it also has defensive 3, which is pretty good. We have Doomsday next. This is the legendary Levia specialization. It's also a legendary rarity too. And as we get, you know, talking about spoilers in the next couple days or next week or so, I've seen some cards that have this legendary affix that aren't legendaries. There is a Levia specialization that's legendary. That's just a rare, which is very interesting. So this card, Doomsday, costs 0. It's a shadow instant. Awesome art. Blood for the Blood God and all that stuff. And it says, play Doomsday only if there are 6 or more cards with Blood Debt in your banish zone. And we've seen ways that you can do that. Cards like Convulsions let you banish, you know, 3 here. So if you can, you know, play 2 Convulsions in the same turn, if you have 6 cards in your graveyard, you can just drop a Doomsday, which is pretty cool. And it says, play Doomsday only if you have 6 or more cards with Blood Debt in your banish zone. Create a Blasphemet, the Soul Harvester token. Once again, that is metal. That is super metal. We don't know what Blasphemet is yet. We don't know if it's going to be like a hero or if it's going to be a like equipment or something like that. My bet is probably going to be like a weapon, like a really cool weapon. The Soul Harvester. It sounds like a scythe, or it sounds like some sort of big weapon, big burly weapon. Maybe like a great sword or a great axe or something. But I like it. I like it quite a bit. This card's cool. And next up we have Eclipse. So this is another legendary shadow instant specialization. This one is a specialization for, I said that weird, specialization for Chain. And Chain, we don't know what Chain does. We don't know what class Chain is, what class Chain does. I would bet it's probably one of the Welcome to Wraith classes, but who knows? It could be like a ranger or something like that. Maybe it's a ninja. I think if I had to guess, I would say ninja, but dude, who knows? And first of all, I love the art in this card. My favorite art in the set so far, obviously. But I mean, I say obviously because it's the art that I'm using in the background for this video. But yeah, it's a sweet card. It's very interesting actually. So this one is almost the same as the Doomsday, but this one says play Eclipse only if you've played 6 or more cards with Blood Debt this turn. If you have, you may play Eclipse from the banish zone. So I would guess that Chain lets you play multiple Blood Debt cards a turn, and maybe if they're all from the banish zone or something like that. Maybe he lets you play cards as instants from the banish zone. That would be my guess, by the way. That would be my guess what Chain does. Lets you play cards from the banished zone as instants. Maybe they cost you life or something like that. And then he says, create an Ursur, the Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper, that one sounds a little bit more like a Scythe. Soul Harvester, Reaper, Scythe, I don't know. I think Reaper sounds more like one, but, you know. Anyway, this card's sweet. I really want to get one because I love the art. Next up, we have Tome of Torment. And, like I said, if Chain lets you play cards from your banish zone for, like, as an instant, this card is going to be amazing. So this is a 0-cost card. It says you may play Tome of Torment from your banish zone. It says draw a card, and it has Blood Debt. Also has no defense, which is scary. No defense is pretty rough, and it's just a shadow action, pitches for 1 red. This is very interesting. This card is either going to be amazing or it's going to be like not played at all. So that's my opinions on Tome of Torment. I personally really like it, but we'll see, you know, how things progress because it may or may not be really good. Next up we have Eclipse Existence. This is a shadow instant with a cost of 0. This one, by the way, I've only seen the blue version of. I've only seen the blue version of this card. I don't know if it has any other versions, which is very interesting. So it costs 0. It's a common card, has a blue pitch version. It's an instant, like I said. It says whenever attack you control hits a light hero this turn. So we have direct hate on light heroes. You may banish a card from their soul, and we'll talk about soul in just a second. If you do, they lose 1 life. If you have more life than an opposing light hero, you may banish an action card from your graveyard. So this is another way to fuel your blood debt banishing kind of needs, and also kind of hates on light heroes, which is very interesting. And next up, we have the opposite of this. We have Ray of Hope. This is a 1 cost, by the way. Eclipse has cost of 0. Ray of Hope has a cost of 1. Just keep that in mind. This is a 1 cost card with 2 pitch value. It's a light instant. It says attacks you control have +1 while attacking a shadow hero this turn, which is pretty cool. I mean, that seems pretty good for a go wide strategy. And it also says, if you have less life than an opposing shadow hero, put Ray of Hope into your hero's soul. And it says, put this card face up under your hero card. Very interesting. We don't know how soul is going to interact with anything yet, because we really haven't seen very many light cards. But this is going to be a way to, you know, put a card into your soul. And it seems like it might be a lot harder to put a card into your soul than it is to just banish stuff, because we saw cards that like just banish 3 cards. You know, so we'll see. Next up, we have Celestial Cataclysm. This card is awesome. This card is super awesome. This is going to be one of the chase cards of the set. If you're going to get a foil one of these, I think it's going to be really spicy. So Celestial Cataclysm has a cost of 0, 7 attack, and 3 defense. 0 cost, 7 attack, 3 defense. It's really good. It's really good. Also pitches for 2, which is very good. And it says, as an additional cost to play Celestial Cataclysm, banish 3 cards from your hero's soul. I don't know how big of a cost that is yet. We don't know how hard it is. We have Ray of Hope here, and Ray of Hope's kind of hard to do. You have to, you know, it has a cost, you know, cost 1 to play, and you have to have less life than your opponent, and they have to be a shadow hero. So I don't know. It could be hard, could be easier. It's hard to tell right now. It also has Go Again. So 0 cost, 7 attack, Go Again is amazing. I mean, obviously, it would be the best attack in the entire game if it didn't have this soul mechanic. So we'll see. We'll see how easy it is to, you know, put cards into your soul. Next up, we have Tome of Divinity. So the opposite of that grody, bloody tome. It has a pitch of 2, a cost of 4, which is a lot. Also has a defense of 0. It's an instant, which is actually very important. It says, draw 2 cards. If a card has been put into your hero's soul this turn, instead, draw 3 cards. So 4 costs to draw 3 cards. That's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good. If you have like your Fiendel Spring Tunic and then like a blue pitch card, you would net like 2 cards, because you can use your resource from your Tunic and then pitch a blue card and then draw 3 cards, so that nets you 2 cards. That's not bad. And it's an instant, so you can do it like whenever. So I think this card is good. Once again, I don't know how hard it is to put cards into your soul, so we'll see. We'll see. Next up, we have Ghostly Visit. I love the art in this card. This is a very simple card. It has a 1 cost, 4 attack, 3 defense. It says you may play Ghostly Visit from your Banish Zone, and it has Blood Debt. Very simple. We're going to see a lot of cards that you can play from your Banish Zone. My own spoiler, Mutated Mass, you can play from your Banish Zone. So I think this card is probably going to be a card that is going to be good in the Chain deck. Once again, I don't know anything about Chain. This is all like speculation here, but I would assume that Chain lets you play cards from your Banish Zone, either with Go Again or like as an instant or something like that. So I think Blood Debt's going to be pretty good in one of the Shadow decks at least. And then of course the yellow pitch is 3 attack, blue pitch is 2 attack. Next up, we have Lunar Tide Plunderer. This card was spoiled by Flesh and Blood. By the way, you should check him out. He's a great Flesh and Blood YouTuber. This card has a cost of 3, only a defense of 2, but an attack of 7. So 3 cost, 7 attack is pretty good rate. And it says, if Lunar Tide Plunderer hits a hero, banish it and up to 1 card from their soul. So this is pretty good. It banishes itself. By the way, this dude has a scythe. This dude has a scythe. I think we're going to see a scythe weapon this set. I'm calling it now. Scythe weapon. We're going to have a scythe weapon in Monarch. Anyway, if Lunar Tide Plunderer hits a hero, banish it and up to 1 card from their soul. So pretty good. So it banishes itself, so you can kind of fuel this whole like banish theme and synergy. But you can also just hit their soul if they're playing with that mechanic. So it's interesting, and I think they might see play. 3 cost, 7 attack is pretty good. Maybe could be good in the Levia deck. Same with this card. It's a shadow. Remember, it's a shadow card, right? So you can put it in any shadow hero deck. And so this one, the yellow version, I think could be really good also in like a Shadow Brute deck because it has a attack of 6 and still the yellow pitch value, which is good. And then the blue version is like worse because it only has attack of 5, but you know, still very interesting. The next card is Spew Shadow. Once again, I love the art on this card. So this card has a cost of 2. It's just an action, defensive 2. Choose an attack action card with cost 2 or less from your banish zone. You may play it this turn. If it attacks a light hero, it gains +2 and go again. So this seems like it's a good way to play cards from your banish zone. And this also has go again. It says you may play it this turn, but it doesn't give that card go again. So you can do Spew Shadow, and then you have to play the other card. And if that other card doesn't have go again or isn't an instant or whatever, then that would be like the end of your attack chain. So yeah, very interesting. I don't know how good this card is going to be. We also have a yellow pitch and a blue pitch, and it goes cost 2 or less for the red, 1 or less, and 0 or less for the blue. Very interesting. I'm not sure how good this card is going to be or if it's going to see play. Maybe that +2, if it attacks a light hero, I don't know how good that's going to be. Next up, we have Rally, the Rear Guard. This card was spoiled by Bronson, actually. Once again, another great Flesh and Blood YouTuber. You should definitely check out Bronson. But this card, I think is actually pretty good. I think it's sneakily really good. So it has a cost of 2, an attack of 6. I'm already sold. That's a really good rate. A defense of 2. And it says once per turn instant, which is really weird to have on an attack action. It says discard a card. Rally the Rear Guard gains +3 defense. Activate this ability only when Rally the Rear Guard is defending. So weird card, really weird card, but I think it's really good actually. I think it's gonna see play in some brute decks because it has that, you know, that magic number, the 6 attack, but it can also defend really well. So you can, you know, defend with it and then, you know, discard one of those cards that you have that has 0, you know, defense, like this Tome or the Eclipse or the Doomsday or the not Convulsions, the Shadow. There's a lot of cards that have a 0 defense in Shadow, especially Brute. So I think this could be good in like a Shadow Brute deck and like a Levia deck. So yeah, I think it's good. And then the yellow is 5, and then the blue is 4. I think the red one is the one that is where you want to be. And I think that's going to be it for today's spoiler discussion. Those are the first 2 days of spoilers. Once again, man, I really love Levia. She's so cool. She's so cool. I hope to get a foil version, even if or just a rainbow foil version of both of these. She's going to be like my first like true brute deck. I mean, I have a brute deck now. Actually, I have a brute blitz deck, and I frequently lose with it. So I'm going to try to go deep with Levia, and maybe we can win some games finally with brute. In any case, thank you very much for watching. I am so stoked for Monarch, so unbelievably pumped for this set. I'm probably going to be doing videos like this at least once a week, covering all of the spoilers up to that point, and I think this is going to be fun. And let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are for Monarch. Have a good one all, and I'll see you next time.